What's up, everybody? Welcome to Human Innovation Tarot. My name is Eddie with Imagine Life Development Center. And today I wanted to share a video with you guys that was taken from a recent live tarot reading that I did, where a dear friend of mine asked a question that turned into somewhat of a collective reading, actually. It was actually, I thought it was very empowering and profound, not because of me, just so you all know, I'm not tooting my own horn, but the information that came through was very profound. And so I wanted to share that with you all. So this reading is more of a collective reading, and essentially what the reading is about is what we can expect as we move into 2025. And there's going to be an opportunity for many of you who have a spiritual calling on your life, whether that's to start a business, whether that's to create something, to invent something, whether it's to write a book, it could be anything really, but it'll probably resonate with you if you feel like you're somebody who, whether your whole entire life or whether in the last couple of years, or maybe even just recently, you've had a strong sense, a strong feeling that you know that your life was meant for more than just the daily grind, more than just waking up and going to work and doing your 9-to-5 thing, or more than just being a parent, or following the same routine that perhaps you've been following for however long. And it's not to say that those other things are bad or wrong, right? They're not. But you just know that deep down inside of you, there's always been this thing, and maybe you haven't quite been able to define it. Maybe you haven't been able to put your finger on it and know exactly what it is. For others of you, maybe you do know what it is. Maybe you know that you've been procrastinating, or you've had this fear of the unknown or fear of uncertainty about putting yourself out there and just going for it, or afraid that, I have to pay my bills, I have to make money. How can I do this thing that I'm passionate about, or that I love, or this vision that I have for my future, or this thing that's inside of me that wants to come out of me? How am I going to pay my bills with this? How am I going to get started? How is it going to come to life? How is it going to grow? How is it going to evolve? Will anybody want it? Like maybe if you decide to, write a book or create art, or, maybe you're a musician, right? And you're not sure if anybody will purchase your music, or whatever the thing is that's inside of you that you just have uncertainty about. Well, this video it talks about there's a new energy that we're going to be stepping into in 2025, right? And essentially it's kind of like the universe is giving everyone like a huge injection, if you will, a huge shot of almost kind of like this almost like an advance, if you will. Like if you guys remember back in I think it was 2020. It might have been 2021. I don't remember. I think it was 2020. We the government gave everybody a stimulus check because of the quarantine. Everything was shut down. Well, it's kind of like that. I mean, that's the closest thing that comes to mind for me. It's like the universe is giving us an advance, a stimulus shot, if you will, of this energy where the universe really wants us to take courage and know that it's time. It's time for us, those of you, again, who feel like you have a spiritual call on your life. And again, having a spiritual call doesn't mean that, it's not a generalization. It doesn't mean that you have to do you be into astrology. It doesn't mean you have to do tarot readings. It doesn't mean you have to wear crystals and have spiritual tattoos or any of that. Just starting a business that you want to help people. You want to, whatever that thing is. You want to sell insurance, but you have a spiritual vision for selling insurance in a way that you think that people, it's never been done before, right? And you actually really want to help people. You don't want to rip people off. It's not necessarily just about money for you. Maybe you have a spiritual vision for teaching children, or maybe you have a spiritual vision for healing people, or some, writing a book, sharing knowledge, sharing your experiences, being a speaker, whatever that thing is for you, it because you feel it, you sense it, it's inside of you, right? And up till now, either you have not taken steps to move into that purpose or to create that thing, Or maybe you have, but maybe you've kind of just dabbled in it a little bit. Like, and I'm guilty of this, by the way. Like, I've kind of, I haven't been as consistent with doing this as I know that I have been, right? I wasn't consistent in writing my first book. It took, 5 years to get the first draft done, and then I scrapped it because that wasn't the book that I knew that I needed to write, and I started all over again. And then it took me about 2 years after I started over to get the actual book done, and so now I'm working on my second book, and it's taken me about a year to get close to the end. I'm hoping that will be finished come the new year. So whatever that is for you, you'll know what it is. You'll know where you stand with this. But the beauty of this is that as we move into 2025, there's going to be a very profound and powerful energy available for those who are willing to maybe tolerate a little bit of uncertainty, right? A little bit of discomfort of just not having it all figured out, not knowing exactly what to do, or those types of things. And again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do your research, you shouldn't be practical, you shouldn't, do your due diligence in maybe finding a mentor, a coach, or somebody who could help you and assist you. But the bottom line is just start, right? Wherever you are in your journey, whatever that thing is inside of you, don't put it off any longer, especially with this energy. Because again, it's like a free boost. It's like a free slingshot. It's a free stimulus. Like, for those that are willing to answer the call and move forward in whatever that spiritual calling is, the universe is going to reward you big time, right? So that's really what this video is all about. So let's get to the video.
Now, I just want to point out, look what card just came back. The Mass card just came back, and underneath the Prisoner. So as you can see, I'm just pointing this out. I haven't even got into the reading yet. I'm just pointing out that already a theme, one of the themes collectively for those who have a spiritual calling, the universe is going to be calling us all out and saying, hey guys, hey, time to take the mask off. The time, it's our coming out party. It's time for all of us to come out of the closet, right? We're no longer being held back anymore. With the Prisoner card here, the universe is saying, you're no longer being held back anymore. It's the time you're being it's like the universe is opening up the floodgates for all of us spiritual leaders and teachers and all of us weirdos or whatever you want to call yourself. It's opening the floodgates and saying, it's like I'll use the scene in Braveheart. There's that famous scene in Braveheart where Mel Gibson is out on the battlefield and the enemies are running towards him, and he's telling everybody, he's like, hold, and they're getting closer and closer, and he's like, hold, and he's like having them like wait all the way to that last moment, and then he gives the go signal, right? That's what the universe has been doing. It's like, okay, wait for it, and then boom. Now the universe opens the floodgate and is like, go. It's time for you guys to go. Because look, underneath that we have leadership, and over here we have success. So for many of you all here, collectively, who resonate with anything that you heard even in Kelly's reading just a second ago, you're like, yeah, I feel like I have a spiritual calling, a spiritual gift. Well, you probably do. And you've been sitting wondering, like, if you can do it, or there's room for you, or is it lucrative? Like, and the answer is yes, because the success card is here. In other words, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. You remember the old Willy Wonka, and everybody gets the gold ticket to go to Willy Wonka land, right? Or they have to go through it to find the golden ticket, whatever. Everybody gets a golden ticket. Everybody that has the balls to take the mask off, to come out of the closet and embrace their spiritual authority, meaning just embrace your spiritual calling, you have success here. So whatever your needs are, financially, resources, people, you will be able to do this full time. Your spiritual calling comes with a covering. Let me say that again. Your spiritual calling comes with a covering, because the universe would never sign you up for something or ask you to do something without providing the resources for you to do it, right? Success is not just getting by. This isn't scraping for pennies. This isn't, oh my God, living from paycheck to paycheck. No, this is success. This is full-blown success. This is like the bank account is full. You got more than you need and then some. You got retirement. Your bills are more than covered. Like, you have excess. This is abundance, major abundance here, okay? Let me put these over here. Okay. So that was just that. We haven't even got to this. So we got the past here. We have karma, which is essentially the same as justice. And then we have sickness. So we're going to get into this in just a second. I can't make this shit up. I barely even touched the deck and this card flew out. And look what it says. Material and spiritual prosperity. Just in case you didn't hear it, let me say it a little louder for those in the back. Everything that I just said about this success card over here. If you question, if you doubt on any level that your calling, your spiritual gift can more than sustain you, more than feed you, more than give you the whatever lifestyle you want, the card is here saying it will, it can. But you have to set yourself free from anything, any type of resistance or doubt that it's possible for you to have a full-time spiritual calling that's fruitful and abundant. Can't even make that shit up. I have a deck over here that's screaming at me. But I feel like I got one or two more cards here. Yeah, there's one. Anything else? Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so the next card out, we have spiritual strength. Now, the spiritual strength card is tied to the sickness. Okay? We have sickness and we have spiritual strength. And then we have spiritual union. So again, going back to, and again, I'm just using Kelly's reading as an example because, you know, she's the one that I just did before this reading, and it's a good example to use. Many of you guys out there have divine unions. You have divine partnerships. Whether you call it a twin flame, whatever word you use, the relationship that you have with your partner is not just for romance. It's not just to white picket fence, get on the couch, pop out babies, and work your 9-to-5 job, retire and die, or be grandparents, right? You have a calling with that person. You and your person, you and your partner are meant to link up to be spiritual leaders. Because as we move into the age of Aquarius, the divine masculine and the divine feminine roles are going to be, they're going to be renewed and they're going to be healed. We're coming out of this, we're moving out of this distorted, like in the 90s and the 80s, with even a little bit further back, well, actually way further back, we were in this distorted masculine energy. Everything was distorted masculine, distorted masculine. Well, now we've moved into distorted feminine. That's everything right now is distorted feminine energy, right? That's why we have all this weird shit going on, you know, and I'm not even going to get into it, but it's distorted feminine. Well, all that, this sickness, part of the sickness, there's two energies attached to this card. One is the distorted energies, part of the sickness, right? And all of that's about to get cleared out by Pluto, because what Pluto does is essentially like the death card in tarot. Anything that is sick and can't thrive, it can't live, it has to die. But death is only illusion because energy can't be destroyed, right? Energy can't be created and can't be destroyed. It can only transform. It changes from one state to another. So this distorted energy is going to collapse in on itself and be reborn into healthy energy. And the healthy energy that it's being reborn into are these spiritual unions that are meant to re-teach us what it means to be a healthy divine masculine and healthy divine feminine. So there's a whole spiritual transformation happening in regards to our relationships coming up in the age of Aquarius. Now we have spiritual strength, which is tied to this sickness. The sickness is what we're going to call jet lag. Okay? And this stuff is coming to me right now. I have not heard these terminologies before. This is just flowing through me. Okay? So a lot of this shit that's coming out of my mouth is brand new information to me. Okay? I'm just saying. We have the sickness card. The second energy attached to sickness is spiritual jet lag. So in other words, as we move into this energy, this new Aquarius and Pluto energy, or Pluto and Aquarius energy, however you want to say it, there is going to be somewhat of a jet lag, right? It's gonna feel a little intense. It's gonna feel a little bit off. Like it's gonna fuck with you a little bit, right? But the universe is telling you this so that you don't misunderstand that the symptoms of moving into a new energetic frequency. In other words, to expect it. Because if you don't know to expect it, you might misdiagnose it or misinterpret it as something that it's not, right? Like you go to the doctor and you're like, oh man, I got a stomach ache. Oh my God, you have cancer. No, it's not, well, I got cancer. It's just a stomach ache. Oh my God, it's cancer. I just have a stomach ache, And then you walk down the hall, and you fart, and then all of a sudden your stomach feels better. You're like, oh my God, my stomach feels great. I just had to fart. The doctor said I had cancer. It's not cancer. You just had to fart, right? That's kind of the heads up. It's like there's going to be some jet lag. We're going to move as highly sensitive and spiritual people as we move into Aquarius energy. Don't be shocked if you symptomize some things. Things feel a little bit off for a hot second. Don't worry about that, okay? So, here is the deck that was screaming at me. This deck is like, pick me up, pick me up, pick me up. Okay. Message of freedom. That one makes me feel emotional. Happiness. And I know there's one more. I know there's one more. Yeah, there it is. Reunion. So, and at the bottom of the deck. The bottom of the deck is guide. Man, this makes me feel emotional. All right. There are so many people right now that are trapped. There are so many people right now that are trapped, they're stuck, and they're scared shitless. And for them, in their reality, it's very real. In their reality, it's very real. They feel stuck, they feel trapped, they feel scared, and they don't know. There's a vast majority of people who are losing hope. They know something is coming, but they don't know what it is. Because it's our job as the guides to show them. It's our job to give them, to send them the message of freedom that they've been crying out for. These people, their spirits and their souls are crying out for freedom, and they don't even know it. The only way that they know it is unconscious, and they're unconscious of it. They experience it even though they experience it unconscious. And they're experiencing it unconsciously by their hopelessness, their depression, their sadness, their medication, they're checking out, like distracting themselves constantly. Think about it. A vast majority of the people in this world that are alive are seeking a virtual reality. They're seeking an escape from their reality. People do not like the reality that they live in. And they're so tuned out. They're so disconnected that they can't even see just how checked out they've become to their own reality. But their spirit, their soul knows the truth, and their soul is crying out. And that's why I feel emotional, is because they're begging for freedom. It's like the Egyptians. I'm not the Egyptians. The Israelites in the Old Testament that were slaves to Egypt. They were so used to being slaves, they didn't even know they needed to be freed. But God of the Old Testament heard their cries. And so what did God do? God went and got Moses and sent Moses to free them. Right? Because their soul, their spirits were crying out for freedom. Their spirits were crying out for freedom. And so God went and got Moses and was like, hey, I need you to go free my people. Because they're so lost in their own slavery that they don't even know. They've gotten so accustomed to their own slavery that they can't even hear the cry of their own souls. That's what's happening in our world right now. And what is the message of freedom? It's tied to their happiness. This is a powerful, powerful, beautiful opportunity for us as spiritual leaders. Whether you consider yourself a leader or not, it doesn't matter. If you have a spiritual gift and you're using it, you're a spiritual leader. But as the saying goes, with great power comes great responsibility. And so as we exercise our spiritual gifts, there's a responsibility that we have to use that gift, to use it the way that it was intended to use. And in some cases, it just means just do it imperfectly, right? And let the universe, let God source the universe, make calculations for any mistakes or errors that we make, because we're human, right? And it doesn't matter, because if I make a mistake and I say something wrong, then the universe will just find a way to make that mistake relevant to something else. That's the brilliance of the universe. It's like, I really can't fuck up. I really can't fail at this. The only way that I can fail or fuck up is just not doing the thing, by being irresponsible with the gift that I've been called to be responsible for. If that makes sense. So I'm being told to take a look at a couple of collective surrender cards here. And then I'm going to, I haven't forgot about this past card and this justice card, which is just karma. Because essentially what this is saying is, in order for us to embrace freedom, we have to let go of the past. And more than any other thing, in my opinion, that's probably one of the hardest things for any human being to do, is to actually let go of the past. Because as our primal need as humans is certainty. And so we gain so much certainty from the past. That's where we live most of the time, because the past is known. It's the only thing we know. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. And that's unknown. So our brain's like, I don't know it's unknown to me. I can't figure it out. I have no clue. Cool. Let's just go back to the past, because that I can relate to. But there is no future in the past. There is no future in the past. And we don't have a choice, because Pluto's moving into Aquarius, whether we like it or not. It's like, you're on this train, baby. You on a train. You going on this train, whether you want to be on a train or not. You on the ride. You get on that roller coaster, you get on, if you ever go to a theme park, you get on the roller coaster. Well, once you're on and that thing starts moving, too late. You had your chance to back out. Once that thing's gone, you're on. You're on for the ride, right? Well, unfortunately, this ride, we're all of us collectively are on this ride, right? So surrender to effortlessness. Stop pushing so hard. The art of living means going with the flow instead of trying to force the river. And that's the exact opposite of being responsible with your gift, right? Is trying to force things out of fear, which, fear and desperation. Fear and desperation creates resistance, and you live in resistance, you create more resistance, right? The spiritual journey and the spiritual calling requires tolerance, a level of tolerance for your uncertainty. And the amount of fulfillment that you have doing this stuff, that we all have doing the spiritual journey, is directly tied to the amount of uncertainty that we can comfortably tolerate. How much uncertainty can you comfortably tolerate? Because that amount of uncertainty is the amount that you're actually going to allow the universe to collaborate and participate with you. Because what happens when I'm doing this stuff, like, I'm just the voice, I'm channeling. And the reason it feels awkward and the reason I have a little bit of anxiety when I do it is because there's this uncertainty here of where I have to let go and I have to allow the universe to come through me and say things that are outside of my control. It's a trust fall, basically. You know that game where you do the trust fall, someone stands behind you and you close your eyes and you just fall backwards and you're just trusting that they're going to catch you and not let you smack your head against the ground? That's what you're doing. It's a trust fall every time. That's why it's uncomfortable. Because I'm making room, I'm making space, I'm setting I'm willfully using my choice, my free will to set aside my ego to give that space and that room for the universe to come and participate with me. But it's uncomfortable because I don't know what the universe is going to do. I don't know what it's going to say. So there's this trust. It's this game of trust where I'm like, I have to trust the universe to show up for me, because if not, I'm fucked. Right? And so what ends up happening is when we try to force, the ego gets involved, and then we cock block our spiritual gift. Surrendering to effortlessness is surrendering to that level of uncertainty, but having trust that in that uncertainty that the universe is going to flow through you and show up for you, and that you're not going to just, they're not going to leave you on, leaving you making a fool for yourself. Or the universe is never going to lead you down a path that's going to ruin you or embarrass you. It's never going to lead you down a path to corruption or pain or desperation or loss or bankruptcy or whatever the fear is, right? But the ego gets involved because it's a sneaky little bastard, and it starts whispering, oh, you can't trust that. You can't trust that. Well, if you do that, that's impractical. Oh, wait, the universe is telling you to go do this crazy thing? That makes no sense. That's the most illogical thing and the most illogical decision that you could ever make. Why the fuck would you do that? Because the universe is telling me to? Well, that's stupid, right? Like, yeah, sometimes you let it go. I have no idea. The universe is telling me to do this. This is insane. It makes no freaking sense. But here I go. Trust fall. That's what we're being calling to do. Now, I'm holding this. I'm holding this card, and everything that just came out of my mouth, and I did not read what this card was. This second surrender card, I did not read what it was. Surrender your belief in scarcity. The universe is asking you to open to the infinite nature of abundance. In this way, you can remove blocks in your life and succeed beyond your wildest dreams. And you know why it's so hard? Because we look around and we go, well, I don't know, Eddie. I don't see any millionaire or billionaire psychics. I haven't met a millionaire tarot reader who it's like, well, you're right, because you're supposed to be the first one. What if you are? What if you're supposed to be the first millionaire who built a whole business off of it? I don't know, Colette Baron Reed. I don't think she's a millionaire, but I mean, she's clearly, she's made a living doing this, creating tarot cards, doing medium readings. I mean, I've heard her story. It's actually really incredible. Colette Baron Reed, who actually is one of the authors to a lot of the popular oracle cards, she has a crazy story. Like she came up in like addiction. She was like raped. I mean, she has a crazy past story of addictions and rape and all kinds of stuff she went through in her life. And she did massages for a living, and she would put her hands on people, and then dead people would start talking to her. And so then she got that spark of courage and decided, well, she decided she was going to say what this dead relative was to this person that she was giving a massage to. And that person's like, oh my God. And it turned into this whole conversation. And then she realized like, wow, there really is something to this that could be very life-changing, because the message that she got from that person, the customer she was giving the massage to, the message that she got from the dead relative that she gave to her customer was very healing. And it transformed that person's life. Like, they needed that message because it meant everything to that person. It actually was something that ended up being very healing and therapeutic for that person. And so she realized that, wow, like, this is, if there's something good that can come from this weird thing that I've pushed myself away from my whole life, then maybe I should start doing it. And so, she started doing it more and more and more, and then it became a thing. And then she went on cruise ships, and then she would do live readings and stuff. Like, she'd call people, dead people come in talking to her, and she'd call people out. And then it turned into something more and more, and, turned into a whole big thing. And now, she does, I don't know how much of that she does now, but she doesn't have to. She's got a podcast. She's created oracle cards. She's living the dream. She's living with the love of her life. She's a well-known, famous, prominent figure in the spiritual community. Like, anything is possible when we surrender to that anything is possible. And in this case, I feel like it's a timing thing. And at the bottom of the deck, we have surrender to what is. Flow with what is instead of fighting it, which goes back to the effortlessness. Flow to what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change a situation, compassionately accepting it, when you can't change a situation, compassionately accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. So yeah, it's just saying, hey, it's the serenity prayer, knowing the difference between what we can control and what we can't control. And when there's things that are out of our control, not allowing it to rob us of our peace. So I'm going to get 3 last cards here for there's something here. Okay. Interesting. So we have justice. We have justice here, and we have justice up here. What this is saying, and I've never heard it said like this before. So we have justice, we have the 2 of Pentacles, and we have the Ace of Pentacles. This whole message right here with these cards is completely untraditional to what tarot says. Justice is holding the 2 of Pentacles. Here is the scales, but it's not the scales. The scales are these 2 of Pentacles. Justice is holding the 2 of Pentacles. Well, justice is the truth. Justice is holding the infinite truth, the infinite opportunities connected to the infinite truth. That's why the 2 Pentacles here are in the infinity symbol. And the Ace of Pentacles is just a representation of any type of idea, inclination, creation, opportunity, anything that, because it's just the ace, it's just the culmination of it. Anything that can become manifest in the materialized world. So as you exercise spiritual truth, spiritual authority, justice, as you exercise this spiritual truth, the infinite possibilities and opportunities become available to you, because that's what Lady Justice is here to give you. She's handing you the Ace of Swords, which is unlimited knowledge, revelation, and truth, so that you can create infinite opportunities of tangible whatever, as long as, and so far as, what you choose and what you do are tied to that spiritual truth, your spiritual calling, but will also benefit the collective in regards to your spiritual calling. In other words, as long as you stay true to your spiritual calling, whatever it is that you desire will mutually, not only mutually benefit you, but it's going to mutually benefit the collective as well. So another way of saying it is don't make it about you. If you focus on sheerly the money itself, or sheerly the scarcity, or sheerly the finances, sheerly the security, then it's like you've missed the point. The universe is saying you need to think bigger. You are part of the collective. When you focus on the collective, you're also focusing on you because you're part of the collective. And as you focus on the collective, while you trust me, I'm going to give you all the revelations you need, the sword of truth. All information is available through me. I'm the one who gives it. And as a result, you get access to the infinite opportunities that are attached to the infinite knowledge that I give you. You need something, I'll give you the download for it. Here it is. Here's the pinnacle. You need something, you need money, you need something, you need an idea, you need a course, you need a job idea, you need whatever it is, whatever idea that you need to be able to create resources for yourself, as long as you're also focusing on the collective. When you inquire about that thing, as long as it's for the collective too, then the universe is going to give it to you. You're going to get the knowledge and information. But then comes the actionable part, which is implied. It's not in a card. It's just implied. It's like, yeah, you get the downloads all day long. People, I've heard someone say everybody gets $1 million idea at least once in their life. Question is, what did you do with it? Right? Everybody gets $1 million idea at least once in their life. So what are we doing? So once we get the download and we have that pinnacle, it's time for us to put it into action. And then it's infinite, right? So hopefully that made sense. And that's for everybody, by the way. This is for everybody, but especially for those of us who are in positions or feel called to be in some form of spiritual leadership, And again, leadership isn't always what we think it is. It's not having a title. It's not being above somebody. It's not telling people what to do. It's not about that. It's just you inspiring people with what you have, right? That's what a leader does. A leader inspires people into becoming something greater and better than they were before. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. All the other information is in the description box below. And as always, my friends,
I'm not a bloody psychic.